We are behind schedule, so I'm going to get straight into the core of my discussion and avoid the pleasantries. There are some things, however, I have to say. I finished my MBA from Aligarh in 1994, and I was in Aligarh, for 5 years, BSc and then 2 years MBA. I grew up in Aligarh, the first half listening to the great talks about the presidency of Professor Ali Amir Sahab. I voted for a lot of presidents, but everyone told me he is good, but not as good as, a president that we had. And then the other years I spent listening to his majalis, and therefore it's a humbling, experience for me to speak in front of him today. For those of you who don't know me very well, I think a shortcut is I'm the elder brother of Dr. Husaini. For those of you who don't know, my name Sam is an accident. Sayyid Ahmad Mehdi Husaini. It was too long to fit my school register. So my teacher started writing it as S.A.M. Husaini, and I was a sports person, so everyone started cheering, "Go Sam, go Sam," and then Sam kind of stuck as my name. So that's just a little bit of a clarification I'm going to give here today. So the next 20 minutes or 25 minutes, I'm going to try to condense it, hopefully will change your lives forever. All right? Can anyone from the audience tell me the difference between a manager and a leader? Can anybody tell me? Put your hands up. Anybody tell me what's the difference between a manager and a leader? All right? Okay, for the sake of time, I'll tell you the answer. A manager is somebody who ensures that you walk down a preset path. All right? एक रास्ता बना हुआ है, एक रास्ता उसके ऊपर ठीक से चलने का काम, to ensure that everybody walks down that path is the job of a manager. Leader ये तय करता है कि रास्ता कहाँ लेके जाएगा, किस तरह का रास्ता होगा, कैसा रास्ता होगा, और मैनेजर जो रास्ता तय हो चुका होता है वो इंश्योर करता है कि आप उस रास्ते पे ठीक से चलें. Alright? No guesses if I ask you which person has more impact in the world today, or what kind of a person does the world of tomorrow need? Do we need more managers or do we need more leaders? All right, I would say, anybody would say, well, I think we need both, all right? But today, I'm talking to a set of individuals who have really excelled academically and whom we are here to celebrate. So I would propose that your ambition should be to be nothing less than a leader, all right? We were struggling with some technology issues before I came in. Now there's a World Economic Forum report which says that 85% of the jobs that will be the best jobs in 2030 have not yet been invented. So we are living in a world where by the time you're 30 years old, all right, we have no vision, we have no idea of what's going to be good, what's going to be great, and what's going to be the best jobs when you're 30 years old. Then why would you want to use the rules, the principles, and the practices of the past, all right, to determine a future that is ahead of you, a future that is uncertain, a future that is complex, a future that is ambiguous. The American Army calls this VUCA, V-U-C-A, volatile, unexpected, complex, and ambiguous. That's the kind of future we're going into. You just have to listen to the news and see what's happening. all right, to see what I'm talking about. Now, in class, we have a lot of teachers here, we have a lot of professors here. We're really taught to answer questions. All right, the whole game is about teaching you, and at the end of the year, you will have to answer questions. But the boldest, leaders, life demands that it's not about answering questions, it's about asking questions. All right, the boldest and the best people I remember are not people with straight A's. In fact, I remember my school days, and I think of my classmates, people who scored in the 90s. All right, I look around and see how successful they were in the world, and I don't think they have been as successful as people that had a well-rounded emotional intelligence compared to, the intellectual IQ that they had. So it's not about straight A's. It's about the ability to ask the question, why are we doing it this way? Why not that way? All right? It's the ability to ask the right question. Now, I'm a researcher and a strategic planner, and we say that if you get the questions right, half the answers are already found. So a lot of the effort is in finding the right kind of question. So the shift from really knowing to questioning is where leaders are born. All right? And that's the mindset shift. That is what involves critical thinking. That is what involves you stepping out of your own body and having an out-of-body experience where you look at it and say, it may look good to others, but to me, is it great? All right? Can I make this better? Is this the best way? Or is there another better way of achieving and solving this problem? Now, in schools, you get instructions, all right? There is a bell that is rung. There's everything, every step, there is some instruction. But in life, life is totally silent, all right? You're in the deep end of the pool, metaphorically speaking, all right? And you have to start swimming from day one. Now, how can you do that? You do that by making the right decisions. We all have choices, all right? Even the first prophet, Prophet Adam, had a choice. He made a choice. In life, what God gives us is a set of choices. And we kind of navigate our life through those choices. And the outcome is what decides, where we are placed really in life. So there are doctors here, and DNA is something that, you kind of teach every day and you understand. But for those non-medical people, DNA is probably the microscopic version of the microscopic. It's the nub that really drives physiology, that drives a lot of how your body behaves, how your cells behave, how the organs behave, and it is DNA that is transferred from one generation to another that makes sure that there is some continuity in line. But my version of DNA is different. All right? It is about direction, narrative, and action. All right? Now, direction is the fire in your belly. All right? Direction is the fire in your belly. And narrative is your voice. And action is the proof of your work and outcome. So, in terms of direction, it's not about asking, where are you going? All right, everybody, today growing up kids are using smartphones better than a lot of grown-up people. So this question is too basic now. Where are you going? All right, everybody more or less knows where at least they want to go. The real question is, what are you chasing? All right, what are you chasing? What difference do you seek to create? What change are you trying to bring about? All right? And what do you want to solve? This is what creates leaders. This is what creates legacy. This is what inspires people all right, to do things that are greater than what people think they can achieve. What's the narrative? All right? Now the narrative, a lot of people sometimes are shy in communicating their narrative. One, they think that it's a little bit of a sad story. I suffered, I had a lot of pain, I had a lot of struggle, and I had a lot of difficulties in my life, and therefore I don't want to talk about that. For some people, humility comes in the way, and they say, no, I don't want to talk about, how. But we must understand that leaders, people follow people who've walked through the road and kept on going. It is a very inspiring story, all right, to hear that there was someone who struggled, who overcame, all right. So I'm very often invited at FMSR for lectures to the MBA students over there, and I keep telling them that no excuse works when I'm in the hall, because I was sitting there with you, all right, and if I could do it, you could do it. If I had the same constraints as everybody else, and there are many like me that have, alhamdulillah, made it reasonably well. So if we could do it, you can do it, all right? So people follow people who've walked through fire and have kept on going, and that is what will get people to follow you. Stop waiting for clarity. That's the other problem. We're always waiting, all right? We want clarity, and clarity, sometimes we think that, okay, clarity will come in the morning when I get up. Clarity could come in the washroom. That's where a lot of people find their clarity, all right? Or speaking, in more religious terms, people try to find the will or the divine will, through some form or the other. But clarity comes, action creates clarity. All right? We live in an iterative world. We live in a world where we learn, unlearn, relearn. All right? It is, I pray to God every day that God make me fail fast rather than fail slow. Because I learn when I fail. And if I fail slowly, I will learn ineffectively. But if I fail fast, I will learn quickly. All right, so that's a prayer that I have, that God, please make me fail quickly, because I get up, I rise up, I learn, and then I start my journey all over again. So start before you're ready. Start before you're ready. Now, here are some 5 enemies of leadership. One is comfort. Comfort is the dead zone. Believe me, the moment you're comfortable, all right, you're in trouble. I would think, and I keep telling people that come and tell me कि आजकल बहुत परेशानी चल रही है, मैंने कहा इसका मतलब है कि अल्लाह की रहमत तुम्हारे ऊपर आई है, all right, because it is in parishani and is in difficulty that you learn and that you grow as an individual, whether it's in knowledge or spirituality or whichever way. Perfectionism, I want to get it perfect. You will never get it perfect. The world is a moving target. We're moving so fast, there's no way you can get it perfect. You have to just start. You have to start somewhere, all right? And then perfect it as you go along. Fear of judgment, all right? What will people think about me? I might look as a failure. I mean, do you know that it's better to suffer a little embarrassment now in this stage of your life and let people maybe think that you haven't got it right, which might not be the correct case, rather than judge you at the end of your journey when you can't do much about it. All right, so it's better to face judgment now, but do not fail, do not fear anybody's judgment. And this whole this whole approval addiction, I need you to approve, I need people to like me, I want people to love me. This is another trap that prevents, because if you are somebody that people love, I can tell you 90% is you're not a leader. Because if you want to be loved, go and sell ice cream. All right? Leadership is not for people who are seeking love. Leadership is for people who are seeking to create a difference. People who are seeking to build something. people who are seeking to leave this world better than they found it. All right? So these are 5 enemies of leadership that we have to be very wary about. What does it really take? It's, at the end of the day, it's not very difficult. It seems, probably I've over-dramatized it. This whole leadership thing looks like a complex process. Actually, it just means 3 things, 3 C's. Clarity, know your why. All right? Courage, move when it's uncomfortable. That's the time to do things, when you're uncomfortable. All right? Even from a spiritual perspective, they say कि जब आपको अपनी ज़रूरत हो रही हो और उस दौरान आप किसी और की ज़रूरत कर दें, तो उसका सवाब कई गुना है. इसी तरह से जब आपको लगे कि this is not the right time to rock the boat, believe me, that's the perfect time to rock the boat. Because if you don't rock the boat is going to make you sink anyway. All right? And the last is consistency. Keep showing up even when no one is clapping. Character is defined by what you do when nobody is watching you. All right? So it's very simple. 3 C's, just remember that. Clarity, courage, consistency. Now, I'm going to take a little bit of a creative break. This is a story I'm going to tell you. This is a story of an eagle and a story of a chicken. All right? We all know that our own very famous Allama Iqbal called Shaheen. All right? And there's a lot of poetry around the concept of Shaheen and how a Shaheen lives its life. So I just want to share this story with you, and then no. ओके तो उसको ऐसे विदाउट स्लाइड शो पे दिखा दीजिए और वॉल्यूम लगा दीजिए. वॉल्यूम I'm sorry about the delay, but it's a good story. You will enjoy it. अच्छा रहने दीजिए. It's okay. It's okay, I'll tell the story. I'll narrate the story to you. So there was this farmer who one day was walking around his farm and he found an eaglet's egg, the egg of an eagle. And he said, "Arey, ye to mar jayega, kya hoga iska?" He picked up that egg and he took it to his chicken coop. And he put the egg where the other chicken eggs were kept, and a mother hen came and she sat on the eggs like she sat on, all the eggs, and therefore she was, giving it all the motherly love that she could, give. And then with all the chickens was born this little eagle. All right? Now the eagle was a little confused. She would start going and picking worms. She would be walking around the yard behind the other chickens. She would be following the mom, finding, the little scraps. And this little eaglet looked up one day and she saw a majestic eagle flying across the sky. in full majesty. And she asked her little brother chicken, and she said, "What is that?" And she said, "That's a bird of the sky. We are birds of the ground. We are birds of the land." All right? And that's not who we are. But DNA, genetics, and the whole thing started kicking into the eagle. The eagle, they started jumping and would find that the chickens were jumping like 2 feet in the air. The eagle was able to jump 3 or 4 feet and things like that. And very quietly, the eagle discovered, or the eaglet discovered, this capability that it had where it could jump higher and fly better. So one day, the eagle had a choice, or the eaglet had a choice to make. It was either I continue living my life in the comfort of what I know, what I was born into, all right, in the company of my little chicken brothers and sisters, all right, who make me feel safe because we go in the yard and we pick up little worms. Or I take the big step and make the leap to realize what I was meant to be, who I was meant to be. All right? And what do you think the eaglet did? The eaglet took the leap and started flying sky high in the same majesty as the other eagle flies. Now, this is a story that, if you look at it, relates to all of us. All right? There are some people who come from small towns, who live in very comfortable environments, who would say, it's very safe to be here. I know what works, what doesn't work. All right? I don't want to take the risk of stepping out of that comfort zone. What does it do? It keeps you with the chickens. All right? And you will never be the eagle that you were meant to be. Now, in Aligarh, very often I make this presentation to a lot of MBA students, and that is, have you all been to Khurja? All right, you've all been to Khurja? All right, have you seen that big signboard in Khurja which says Jugaad ends here? All right, Jugaad doesn't go beyond Khurja. It can't help you beyond Khurja. Jugaad is an Aligarhian concept, and this is what sometimes keeps us as chickens. All right, we are afraid to leap out. We're afraid to go out into a new environment and try something new, all right, because there is the risk, all right, of falling. So here is the story, and our Allama Iqbal, I was just looking for some reference, and Allama Iqbal says, "Parwaaz hai donon ki, ek hi fiza mein, कारगज़ का जहां और है, शाहीन का जहां और है." All right? So you have to decide, are you a Shaheen or are you a Kargas? My vote is for you being a Shaheen, because I believe that that is what you're meant to do and that is what you can achieve. एक और शेर, तू शाहीन है, परवाज़ है काम तेरा. तू शाहीन है, परवाज़ है काम तेरा, तेरे सामने आसमान और भी है. All right? You are an eagle flying as your nature. There are skies beyond skies before you. All right? So that's the legacy and that's the destiny that we're supposed to live. So I'm coming towards the end of the presentation. I just want you to do something today. When you go back to your hostel, where you go back to where you live, please pick a pen and a paper and just write a paragraph of how do you want to be remembered? What do you want to be remembered for? All right? Now, there is an entire workshop that I conduct, a leadership workshop. If you take out your smartphones and you scan this QR code, you can download the entire workbook document. It takes you question by question, it asks you questions, and it allows you to discover, all right, how, and I'm not saying whether you're a Shaheen or not. It allows you to discover how you will behave as a Shaheen, all right, and it allows you to give clarity, gives you courage and consistency, the 3 C's that I really talked about. I want to, us to remember the words of Imam Ali. Live for something worth dying for, and die for something worth living for. Now what does it mean? When I read it the first time, I said, oops, this is a bit, live for something you want to die for, and die for something you want to, what does it mean? And I started doing some research, and I discovered, excuse me? Yeah. Imam Ali's saying is telling us that purpose is everything. Alright? Live for something worth dying for is all about purpose, finding your purpose. Don't live a shallow life, chasing applause or empty goals. He didn't do it. Alright? Anchor yourself to something deeper, a cause, a belief, a mission that fuels your fire. And real leaders aren't motivated by titles or awards. They're driven by meaning. Imam Ali ne dunya ko 3 baar talaq di. Alright? He didn't care about titles. The second perspective he gives us is courage is the ultimate proof. Live for something worth dying for. What does that mean? True leadership demands sacrifice. Alright? It's not easy. Otherwise everybody would be a leader, and that's not how it happens. It's not about comfort or convenience, it's about conviction. And when you believe in something with your whole being, you're willing to risk, stand alone, and even fall for it. His son, Imam Husaini, showed that to us in Karbala. So, as I end my session, I pray for success for all of you who graduated. There's been a lot of hard work, and my prayer is that go live, go lead, and go and leave a mark. Alright? Because that's what you were meant to do. Live like Ali, and when our Almighty decides that it's time for you to come, then make sure you die like Hussein. Thank you so much.